Jagrative. People talk about witness consciousness. Krishnamurti called it objective observation. The simple truth of the matter is, until you step back, that is the beginning of your spiritual journey. The rest are practices you do to work with yourself enough to where you can step back. But there's a lot of misunderstanding about witness consciousness. People think if they're in there saying, okay, I'm watching, yes, I see my mind, that's not witness consciousness. That's just a layer, very good, but it's a layer of the mind. Your mind is like a computer. It's capable of multitasking. If you used to talk about something going on in the back of my mind, there's literally something going on in the back of your mind. And then there's something going on at every layer. The mind is very complex, can do lots of things, very capable. So having a part of your mind imitate witness consciousness is better than not, but it's not where you want to be. There is a deeper state. But how do you witness your mind if you're using your mind to witness your mind? If the mind's talking about it, if the mind's thinking about it, then it's your mind. So an example I use in the new book, which is fresh, of course, in my mind, and I don't know how many people can actually get it. If you open your eyes and you look in front of you, do you see what's there? How hard was that? You discipline yourself and meditate for hours and hours. If you open your eyes, you see what's in front of you. I'm telling you that's witness consciousness. It's just witness consciousness of what's outside as opposed to witness consciousness of what's inside. It takes no effort. It takes no time. You don't need to be taught anything. It is not difficult for you to just simply see what's in front of you. But can you see your thoughts the same way? Can you see your emotions the same way? Because they're there exactly the same as the outside. You're behind this. Obviously, when you look outside, you inside are looking outside. It takes a billionth of a second to see what's there. Now, if your mind starts talking about it, that's a different story. But the initial impulse of opening your eyes and seeing what's there, your mind can't talk about it yet because it hasn't decided whether it likes it or not. You understand that? The mind's not active. It's just boom, there it is. I'm telling you, when you get to true witness consciousness, it is that easy. It is that simple. The only difference being that you can see your thoughts in the exact same way that you see the outside world. It's just boom. Not an individual chair. The first time you don't see it, you don't see the knots in the wall. You just see. There, boom, it all comes in all at once, doesn't it? There it is. Your thoughts are in front of you. I'm just going to talk to you as though you're there. They're in front of you. They're like there. There they are. Hi. There they are. You're here watching your thoughts. Your emotions are in front of you. Hi. They're down here, coming out of your heart. Hi. There they go. There they come. There they go. And you're seeing them. How would you know they were happening if you didn't see them? You say to somebody, God, I've been really sad lately. My heart's really bothering me. How do you know? How do you know? Somebody knows. Somebody said it. Notice what they said. My heart. Whose? That's a possessive pronoun. I want to know who sees the wall. I want to know who is aware. My thoughts are bothering me. Oh my God, since she left me, it won't stop. I just keep thinking. Who is saying that? Who is saying that their thoughts are bothering them? Who is noticing that the thoughts just won't stop saying this stuff? That is the witness. Like you're it. Tag, you're it. Okay, that's the trouble. You're actually the consciousness that is being aware that there are thoughts being made. You're the consciousness that is aware that stuff's coming in through your senses. You're the consciousness aware that your heart is emanating or that you have emotions floating in front of you. Someday, and we'll talk about whether it's hard or easy or what you can do about it, that's what it will be like to you. You're just in there and there's these thoughts. You're in there and there's these emotions. You're in there and there's a wall and chairs. It's just something you see. It's not something you do about it. If you're doing something about it, you're in your mind. You're thinking about it. You're analyzing it. You're wanting to do it. You're wondering whether this is witness consciousness. So there's something going on other than what the Buddhists call just seeing. You just see what comes into your senses. You just see your thoughts. You just see your emotions. So if you were in that state, you'd be in a great state. Because if you just see your thoughts and they're floating by, and they come and they go, they don't bother you. They're not a problem. Baba Muktananda once said, I remember back in the 70s, I read him write that. He would write to his disciples, say, "Oh, dear ones, Baba found out that you can enter the deepest samadhi with your mind talking." He literally said that. The mind does not have to shut up to enter into these deep yogic states. Well, of course not. Does the wall have to go away for you to not look at it? For you to walk outside? No. The thoughts are there, but you don't have to pay attention to them. You're perfectly welcome, if you are in a seat of witness consciousness, to just fall back behind them, and they're there. You don't see them anymore. If I walk away from the wall, I don't see it anymore. There's a reason I'm painting this the way I am. It's the same thing with your emotions. They're just there. Fine, the heart makes emotions. Boom, 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 there they are. And you are aware of them, and you talk about them. You say, my heart hurt, I felt so much love. Who did? What does that mean? And so eventually you will get to that state, and then you'll know you're in witness consciousness. You'll remember this talk, and you'll realize, I'm back here, and that's what's going on in front of me. The outside world, the thoughts, the emotions. Well, why don't we live that way? There's a magic word that people don't think of it as spiritual, but it's a very spiritual word. It's called distraction. The wall does not distract you, unless there's something going on with it, but we're going to assume you're neutral about the wall. You just see it, and you're welcome to walk away. You're welcome to go into your thoughts, go into your heart, look at something else. It's not like I look at the wall and I can't turn my head. Oh, my God. No, I can't. No. Right? You're so distracted by what you see that you can't let it go. You could do that. It could happen. But in general, with a wall, it's not. It's just a fairly normal, neutral thing. And you look at it, you see it, and then you look at something else. If you get distracted by what you're looking at, then you can't look away. It pulls your consciousness into it, and you have to pay attention to it. That's what it means to get distracted. I'll jump way ahead. That is what's happening with your mind and your emotions. They are distracting you. You are talking to somebody, and all of a sudden you have a thought, or they say something, and your emotions come up. That's it. You're not even listening to the person anymore. You're caught up in your own emotions. You're caught up in your thought patterns. And the outside world is not coming in like it used to. It is coming in. If a doctor or some scientist measured your neural impulses and so on, they're all coming in. But something is distracting you. You, the consciousness, is distracting your awareness and pulls your awareness toward the thing you're distracted by. If you understand that, you're ready to grow in this journey. Because the question is not, how do I make myself be witness consciousness? I don't like that. It's like, I'm going to feel better by suppressing things. I'm going to force something. It doesn't work. What you have to understand is, why am I not in the seat of witness consciousness all the time? Because that's where you are. You're in here deep inside, looking at the thoughts, looking at the emotions, and looking at the world. That's what's happening. Well, why doesn't it seem like that? Because you're getting distracted by your thoughts. You're getting distracted by your emotions. That's why it doesn't seem like that. Your consciousness is being drawn out of the seat of consciousness into the particular thoughts, particular emotions, or what's happening outside. If you are not being distracted, I'm telling you, if somehow your thoughts did not distract you, they were just meaningless thoughts that didn't bother you at all, there was no reason to pay attention to them, and the same thing with your emotions, and the world was not doing anything special, you would fall back into a deep state of meditation. Naturally. No effort. Your effort now is to try and pull your consciousness out of the distractions. If you sit down, it's thinking about what bothered you last. You're having emotions about what's going on. And so therefore, you're trying to rip your consciousness back away from what's distracting it. I would rather have you do something very more subtle and much deeper, and it lasts forever, which is learn to not be distracted. If you're not distracted, it doesn't matter what's going on. You don't have to fight with your thoughts. They can be anything they are. It's like they're clouds passing by. If the cloud looks like your grandmother and your grandmother just died and, you're going through all kinds of drama, okay, then you can't walk away. You have to just look at the cloud. That's what you're doing with your thoughts. So the question is not, how do I rip back into a seat of objective observation, if you will. It's a question of why am I distracted? That's why I'd rather have you work. I'm going to talk very deep tonight. I'd rather have you work on why you're distracted. Because if you're not distracted, then you're not distracted. And consciousness will remain deep in the seat of consciousness effortlessly because it's not being pulled out. So now you get down to, do you understand? Do you understand you're distracted by your thoughts? Do you understand that you're distracted by powerful thoughts? And those are the thoughts you have all the time. Things that bothered you, things that you want, your desires and fears. All right? That's what it thinks about. Hope this doesn't happen. Hope this does happen. Right? And you're interested in it. And so you, woo, oh, look there. And you leave the seat of consciousness by projecting your consciousness onto those thoughts. And now you're lost. You're lost in your thoughts, as opposed to seated in the seat of witness consciousness. Same thing with your emotions, especially your emotions. Once they get going, boy, they can be tough, can't they? Next thing you know, you're all caught up in your emotions. And when you go and your consciousness gets absorbed and pulled into your emotions, the question is not what do I do about that? The question is, where are you not? You're not seated in your deepest seat because your awareness got drawn there. Like I said, it's very good to look at the outside. If you're looking at the outside and that's what the wall is, and all of a sudden somebody walks by and distracts you, there's somebody you like, somebody you don't like, somebody that's beautiful, somebody who's whatever it is. It pulls your consciousness away from looking at the wall to looking at them. Now you're distracted. You got distracted. If you had been in meditation and a sound happened, you'd get distracted. So the question, as I said, if you want to sit in a seat of witness consciousness, you have to stop being distracted because that's a very natural thing. If something comes in front of you and it's all passing in front of you, your thoughts, your emotions, and the physical world, if that's going on, then basically you're going to get drawn out if you get distracted by it. If you don't get distracted by it, you could live in New York City with all the noise. People ask me that sometimes. Okay, you live in the country. What if you lived in New York with all kinds of noise and things going on? If you don't get distracted by it, there is no difference. You can live out here and decide, oh, the poor trees, there's so much pollution. Don't you see? The leaves are not coming out when they're supposed to. You get good and distracted. Out here, you don't have to go to New York. All right? Now, most of you don't. You look at the trees, say, oh, isn't that beautiful? Look, they're coming out early, or whatever, right? And you're able to walk away and just walk by and enjoy what's happening. Well, you could live in New York and do the same thing. So there's your answer. Can you live in New York and be high? Absolutely. As long as you're not distracted by the sirens and the different things that go on there, okay? If you're not distracted, you're not distracted. This is what I'm trying to say. Where are you if you're not distracted? I'm telling you, you're in the self. Because that's who you are. You are this seat of consciousness, of awareness. And what's behind you is why the Bible says man was created in the image of God. That consciousness is the consciousness. There's only one consciousness in the whole universe. But that ray of consciousness is distracted by your thoughts, your emotions, what's coming in through your senses. So therefore, you're a human. You're not a human. You're not a human. You are something very, very great. But you've gotten distracted. You know what you are? God distracted. That's what you are. God distracted by what? You. God distracted by your human thoughts, your human emotions, your human body, and the manifestation of form. And it is distracted by that. That's the fall from the garden. If you are not distracted, you're sitting in a seat of absolute pure consciousness. And then you can work your way back from there. We'll talk about that later. That's the really high states. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to try and grab for that stuff. It's like trying to sail when there's an anchor down. Don't sit there and try to figure out how to get more wind and have a stronger engine so you can drag even though you're anchored. I want you to remove the anchors. And the anchor is distraction. So you get down to the point, first of all, understanding that you in there who is aware of things, that is conscious, no effort. Obviously, you're aware. You're conscious. You see things. You see your thoughts. You feel them. You feel your emotions. You, if you're not distracted, is a very, very high, great being. But why are you distracted? Now you get down to the question. In order to not be distracted, you have to know why you're distracted. It's silly to sit there and try to deal with something when you don't even understand it. Why are you distracted? I've been through this over and over again. We'll just take a slightly different angle. You are distracted because you made a collection of things throughout your life, of things that distracted you. If somebody yelled at you, it distracted you. Otherwise, who cares? They yelled. Some people grew up in a household with a lot of yelling. Okay? And there's a lot of love too. And that doesn't mean anything. They just get all emphatic. And so they grow up. It doesn't matter. It's no big deal. It'd be a nice way to be, wouldn't it? Okay? You just realize it doesn't mean anything. Nobody's dissing anybody. Nobody's leaving anybody. It's just basically a natural thing. I'm not saying it should be that way, because you shouldn't, all right? But if it is, and you're not distracted, then you didn't collect things inside. But normally, things that happen that draw your consciousness toward them, they distract you. And the next thing you know, you're caught up in that. And then what you do is you collect it. Instead of letting it pass when it happens, it's okay, so you got distracted. There was this large noise. There's a large noise that took place. It distracted your consciousness. So what? All right, when the noise stops, let it go. That's what letting it go means. It doesn't mean anything. It's not effort. You just basically hear the noise. A person says something distracted you, and then it's gone. A snake slithers by, and the next thing you know, you're distracted. So what? So what? So for a moment, your consciousness gets drawn down into something that was loud enough or bright enough or scary enough or exciting enough to distract your consciousness. It doesn't mean to be distracted. It was different than everything else. In the book I mentioned that when you saw the rattlesnake, there was also grass. There were trees. There was a sky. You didn't see that, did you? Because the rattlesnake drew your consciousness to it, to where that's what you were aware of. Fine. Even that is not a problem. That's all part of be here now. Be here now doesn't mean be in yourself now. No, don't do that. It means you're here. If it gets distracted, fine. But when the snake goes by, it's gone. It's gone. It's not in your consciousness anymore. Why? Because it's not in your consciousness. It's no longer in the physical plane. How did it stay inside your mind? Why did it stay inside your mind? I understand. If you stand in front of a mirror, you see your reflection. If you walk away, your reflection's not still in the mirror. So the snake's out there. Your senses pick it up. It makes an impression on your mind so you can see it. Then the snake goes away and the impression goes away. You're enlightened. You understand? That's the only difference we're talking about. Somebody once asked Ramakrishna, one of the highest beings ever walked the face of the earth, does a enlightened master ever feel anger? They were shocked by his answer. This is Ramakrishna, one of the greatest saints. He said, yes, but it's like riding on water. The moment it happens, it's gone. When you ride on water, nobody can read it, can they? It's gone. The impression comes in. It makes an impression on your mind because you're back here. You don't really. I'm going to get into that. Get into the book. You don't really see stuff out there. You do know that, don't you? None of you have ever seen a single thing out here. Light bounces off of objects out here. It reflects into your photosensitive cells of your eyes, and it passes the image back into your mind. That's what's happening. You're not seeing things. You're seeing the reflection of things. Okay, fine. So then it makes an impression on your mind. Fine, that's what's supposed to happen. It's not like you're supposed to go off to a cave somewhere and close your eyes and never see anything. You see the world. It comes in. It makes an impression on your mind. But then when it's gone outside, it should be gone inside. Why is it not gone inside? So I can see the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. Why does it get stuck in there? Is there some kind of glue or something in there, kind of flypaper that it comes in there and gets stuck? It is supposed to come into your mind. You're supposed to have a mind. You have to have a mind, or you will not be able to experience this plane. If somebody snips that master nerve that passes all your senses up to your brain, it's still here, but you don't hear it, see it, taste it, touch it, smell it. Therefore, you're having no interaction with the world. So it is because your senses work that they sense the outside world, but do not think you are looking out through your eyes. You're not, okay? The light is bouncing off the molecules and atoms, and then it is coming in through your senses and repainting, reimaging, rendering, that's the right word, rendering the impression of the outside world as it came in on your mind. That's just the truth. That's science. It's not yoga, okay? So now here it is. It's in your mind. What is the image, the reflection of what came in, the representation, the rendering? In the book I talk about it's like a flat screen TV. There's a ball game going on in California. It all gets picked up by the camera. What does the light The light bounces, the camera picks it up, it digitizes it, passes it through the whole thing, renders it onto your TV. You're not in California. You're not really looking at the ball game. You're looking at a rendering of it because it got passed up. That is what's happening inside of you. I wish we could just take one subject and talk about it enough to where you don't ever forget it. You understand. You are not looking outside. You are looking inside. And that's what all yoga teaches you. You live inside. So the stuff gets sent back in there, makes an impression. You experience it. Then what happens? What should happen, just like on your TV screen, the next image should come. The last one shouldn't still be on there. How'd you like to watch TV that way? The newscaster is still on there on top of your movie. No, not okay. All right? That's what's happening, isn't it? Somehow the image from before came in, you saw it, and the object that caused the image went away. It always goes away. The Buddhists say everything's temporal. It is certainly temporal. It's only there for the moment it's there. Then it changes, moves on, doesn't it? That which came in through your senses when you were 10 years old is not there anymore. It will never be there, will it? Then why is it in your mind? Why did that impression stay in your mind? Think about it, because it's not supposed to be that way. In fact, I, in the book, say that is the fall from the garden. You were in the garden. It's beautiful. Everything's wonderful. There's all kinds of things going by. And you experience them. And your joy. And they're wonderful. And sounds are beautiful. And colors are beautiful. And people are beautiful. Everything's beautiful. But then all of a sudden someone goes by that distracts your consciousness so strongly. That's going to be either desire or fear. I want or I don't want. I like and I don't like. That's where duality comes from. That's where it starts. Otherwise, everything's the same. It's just something I'm experiencing. It's the universe passing before me. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat that it's here. Here it goes. There's male, there's female, there's old, there's young, there's birth, there's death. Oh my God. There's vegetables, there's animals. Wow. What an exciting place. Isn't it? Everything goes by. But it's all the same to you. It's something you're experiencing. That's what it is. Now, something happens. I use the example of a rattlesnake in the book. And it draws your consciousness to it more than the rest of the surroundings. It causes a focusing of consciousness because it distracted you. So now that impression was stronger than another one. And what's going to happen, either fear is going to do it, fear, don't like, whatever you want to call it, or desire, something that turns you on enough, draws your consciousness. And then your consciousness focuses on it. Why? It distracted your consciousness. That's the right word. It distracted the consciousness away from everything else to where this thing is no longer even to everything else. And the minute it does that, you hold on to it. You hold on to it. Why would you hold on to that which bothered you? You need to meditate on this. Of all things, why, if something really bothered you, why would you hold on to it? Why would you want to leave it in there? You're not leaving the object in there, you're leaving the impression. You understand that? That object created an impression. Why did you keep it? Well, check it out. Because you do it all the time. You do it all the time. You make a collection of the things that bothered you because they made an impression. And somehow you're not evolved enough or something to let the impression go. Fine. It was a rattlesnake. It was scary. Fine. She left you. You loved her or him and it was wonderful. And now it hurts. It's okay. There it goes. It's okay. You can be healthy. You can handle things. It's legal. I know in our society, something wrong with him. He handled that. He was married for 10 years and she went weird and left him. And it was fine. And his friends and, ooh, that's weird. No, it's not weird. It's healthy. It's healthy that things can come in, experience them, and they go and they go. That is the ultimate of be here now. But we're not capable of that, are we? And we'll talk about why. But I want you to at least understand what we're talking about. These impressions that are a gift from God, from life, that you get to have these experiences. What experiences? All the experiences. This is a happening place, isn't it? Time, space, it's all different. Everything's going on. What an amazing thing. And so basically a healthy person, which at this point we better call him enlightened because that's how far we are from it. A healthy person is able to allow the world, the universe to pass by their senses and have an experience at that moment, and then the moment goes by and the impression goes by with it. They are the ultimate of be here now. If you never knew it before, that's what be here now means. You are present. You are present in the moment. And when the change happens, it happens inside of you too. It goes away. But that's not how we live. That's not normal, so to speak. That's not natural. That's not what it means to be a human being. You understand that? What human beings do is if something happens and it leaves a strong impression of either like or dislike, they want to hold on to what they like. Buddhists call it clinging. That's what you're doing. You're not clinging to the object. If the object stays, it stays. You don't have to cling. You're clinging to the impression inside that it created and you liked it. And now somehow the boy or your girlfriend or boyfriend goes away to go to school or go wherever they're going, and you're still thinking of them, holding on. You're missing everything else. You're driving blind. You shouldn't be driving. Because you're not looking at the outside. You're looking at the inside. Because that's where you held a impression. Now, I'm not going to call it a memory either. We'll deal with that later. It's an impression that got made and you focused on it. And because you focused on it, it made a bigger impression on you than something else that was happening. And so now you held on to it. Who did? You did. Now I'm talking about you in there, the will. Do you have will in there? Can you push thoughts away? Can you suppress? Have you ever suppressed anything? Can you bring it back up? Can you push it away when it comes up again? Do you have will in there? The answer is yes, you do. The Bible is right. You were given free will. You have the right to do things in there. Who does? Where does will come from? Someday you'll go deep enough to experience this. Will is not something floating around inside your body. Will is not something floating around inside your mind or your heart. Will is the power of focused consciousness. When you focus your consciousness on something, it's a tremendous power. You know how when you concentrate, you can feel the power, can't you? When you feel strength inside. When you try to hold an image inside, or when you try to think inside, or when you focus on something, I feel it as like a beam of light. It's a power. Focused consciousness is the source of will. If consciousness is all even, there's no focusing of it. It's all the same level of power. It's one. There's a oneness. When you focus it, that power of focus, you get to do things with. You get to move your thoughts around. You get to push your emotions around. You get to manipulate people. You do a lot with your will, don't you? All right? That will is the focus of consciousness. That's what you've chose to do with your will. So basically, the impression gets made in there. You hold on to that which you like, and you push away that which you don't like. In both cases, they stay. The impression would have just gone right through, but you didn't let it because you didn't want to experience it. So you push it away. It stays. It doesn't have to be suppression. It can just be mild resistance. There is suppression, there's repression, there's resistance. You resist a lot. You don't like the weather. You don't like this person said. You don't like how you feel. You don't like the color of this. You don't like the fact there's a scratch on your car. Boy, do you resist a lot, don't you? The experiences don't just come in and pass through. They get stuck in there. Even the slightest resistance will cause it to stay in there for some period of time. So this is not a game. It's the essence of yoga. It's the essence of spirituality. But if you don't do it well, it can make a mess. And it has made a mess in all of us. We have collected these impressions. We've collected the things that bothered us. We've collected the things that we liked. And by doing that, now your consciousness gets all absorbed in those things in your mind, the leftover impressions. You had a beautiful relationship 3 years ago. Now everybody you meet, you compare with that relationship. No, it's not the same as that. You want to get in touch with them again. You're fixated. It is now running your life. That you had this nice relationship for years and then it ended, or somebody left nicely, let's say, and now you have this beautiful positive impression inside. You're in trouble. You are freaking out over something that's not happening. How does that help you? So basically, you come down to the point where you understand that these impressions got stuck in there, and you got to get them out. Otherwise, they're determining your entire life. You're not paying attention to life. You're looking at life through those impressions that you stored. That's what your psyche is. It's not a normal thing. You're supposed to hear and experience the beauty of creation and let it come in and let it pass through and grow. Every experience you have causes you to grow. Good experiences, bad experiences, painful experiences, happy experiences. They all feed your soul. They're all coming in and you become a greater being because you had the experience. If you meet somebody and they've been divorced, what do you think? I don't want to be with that person because they're divorced? Or now that person is someone who learned how to keep a relationship better. He or she learned what went wrong and they're an expert at this, man. But go marry somebody who's been divorced 10 times. Don't. They just learned a lot. They didn't learn anything. That's the problem. Okay? If it had come in and they experienced it, they would have learned. But they resisted every bit of it, blamed it on everybody, and kept it inside of themselves. So basically, you come to the point where you understand the basics, which is what's meant to happen is you're supposed to experience the reality that's unfolding in front of you, and you're supposed to grow from it. You're not supposed to resist the bad stuff and cling to the good stuff, so you end up with a mind that got broken, like a TV screen that has all these impressions left on it. You're trying to use it. You can't use your mind now. It's too full of impressions, isn't it? Like somebody, doesn't like somebody, somebody talks like your mother used to talk. Just all this stuff hits your stuff. And all of a sudden, what you're interacting with is your personality. You're interacting with the stuff you stored inside. We're stuck in our stuff, and it is distracting us. Let's tie it back together, isn't it? That's what distracts you. So you're sitting there and something's going on in front of you, but you're not paying attention to it because you're being distracted by these thoughts, by these desires, by these fears, and all the stuff that's being built because you stored this stuff inside. Eventually you wake up and you say, I don't live like that. I don't want the past determining my present. I don't want a collection of everything that ever bothered me before to be inside of me, bothering me now. Do you? Is that how you want to live your life? Because if you make a collection of the things that bothers you, you're going to be bothered. I know I'm being repetitive in my talks, right? But let's get something straight. If you make a collection of everything that ever bothered you throughout your life, how are you going to be okay? You just stored inside of you a lot of trouble, all right? And it's going to come back up. And what you're going to end up doing, if you don't listen to a talk like this or somebody else's and be wise, you're going to end up adjusting your life so that your stuff doesn't get hit. She loves me enough. She knows what my soft spots are. She loves me enough to avoid them. That's why we get along. Okay, you ain't growing that way, are you? That is not growth. That is avoidance of what you're supposed to be dealing with. And friends don't do that to friends. Friends talk straight, honest. That's a nice friend. Okay? And so basically we work on the fact that it is not about getting things the way you need them to be so they don't disturb the disturbance you store inside yourself. And you change your whole attitude about life. My purpose of life is to get this stuff out and not take on any more. Now you're a spiritual being. You're walking the spiritual path. You have will. Your will was used to cling or to resist. You can use your will to let go. Now you understand what letting go means. People say, well, but if I have a job offer, that has nothing to do with any of that. It has nothing to do with saying yes or no or anything like that. It has to do with letting go inside. You listen to me. The surrender experiment, I know it tells all the stories about the outside. No, it's about inside. Are you willing to surrender that stuff that you collected inside when the world hits it and it starts coming up? That's your job. Someday you can understand there are no decisions, not like you think there are. People have trouble with decisions because they're trying to figure out what will make them feel better. Figure out what won't hit their stuff. Figure out where they'll fit best. I have to decide what? Where I want to live and who I want to marry. That's because you're trying to figure out what you can do so in the future won't hit your stuff. It won't cause you trouble for everything you stored. Instead, you sit here and you say, okay, it doesn't mean you don't marry. It doesn't mean you don't have a relationship. It doesn't mean you don't have a job. It doesn't mean any of that. It has nothing to do with the outside, other than the fact that the outside hits your stuff. So therefore, it's a very good teacher. And you then have the opportunity to surrender inside. Surrender means letting go of the stuff you stored from before. And surrender means not taking any more. Somebody says something to you, it starts to bother you. You remember, wait a minute, I got bothered 3 years ago and it's still bothering me now. I don't want to do that again. That's how you have to get. I'm not talking about right or wrong or fair. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, I ate some bad food before. It made me so sick for 3 days. I ain't eating that food anymore. It's just that simple. I'm not renouncing food, but I ain't that food anymore. I noticed that when she or he said something to me and I took it personal, it affected my whole relationship. For weeks afterwards, every time I saw them, my heart got weird and I used to love them, and now I don't like that. Why did I do that? All I had to do was say, okay, fine, she had a bad day and she said something, and then it doesn't do that. It doesn't matter what he or she said. It mattered whether you let it go. It mattered whether you could digest it. Not only are you doing yourself a favor, you took care of them. You dealt with that situation. They were better off because you didn't get all weird about it and carry it for weeks because they said something they didn't mean. and you're better off because you don't have all this problem with it. You have the right to do that. You know what you have the right to do? Handle what happened. So you sit there and say, of course I can handle it. I just let it go. But there's resistance. Of course there is. It wasn't comfortable. But do you want it to not be comfortable for the next 3 months, 6 years, 12 years? Or do you want it to not be comfortable for a moment while you let it go? This is what it means to grow spiritually. It's not all that difficult stuff. It's just basically, all right, I do see what happens inside of me if I don't let something go. What somebody says, what somebody does. Even if it doesn't seem right, even if it doesn't seem fair, no. The starting position is, I don't want to store that inside of me and then have that be the basis for my interactions with that person from then on. Not to mention with other people too, because it spreads out, doesn't it? If you're in a bad mood, it affects a lot of things. Okay? You just start to get to the point where you understand, I can handle this. I can handle this because the cost of not handling it is way beyond the cost of handling it. One is over now, the other goes on forever. And so basically you just start working with yourself to say, yes, right now it distracts me and it runs my life because I stored these powerful things inside of me because I couldn't handle them then and I can't handle them now and they keep coming up. I'm going to start to let this go. And it isn't as hard as you think it would be. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in there. My suggestion is first you catch on, this is not only what I want to do, this is the meaning of my life. That is what it's all about. You just take an attitude, I don't want this stuff inside of me. I want to explore the nature of my being. I can't do that. I'm being distracted by myself. I'm being distracted by my stuff. I can't even go through the day. I can't go through an hour. I can't go through 5 minutes without my stuff coming up, without feeling hurt, without taking it personal, without thinking about something that bothered me before. Just please watch in the shower, watch while you're driving. Will you just watch what's going on in there? Because you will not want to see. It's just this stuff coming back up. That's all it's doing. The mind is trying to get rid of this stuff you stored inside. I swear to you. The mind is not the problem. You are. The mind didn't do anything wrong. It did its job. It took the view from the outside world. It brought it in and said, here, present, movie, TV, surprise, surprise. Mind did its job. It brought it in and presented it to you. You, the soul, the consciousness, were not evolved enough to not get all caught up in what you liked and what you didn't like. And so you held on to it. Now the mind's broken. Why would it not be broken? It's full of all the stuff you stored in there that you didn't, mostly you didn't like. I have to put in the you did like, because every once in a while there's something you like. But most of the stuff you don't like. Just please watch. There's most of this stuff you don't like. And so basically you hold on to it, and now your whole mind is broken. It's broken. It's like that TV that has multiple images on top of it. I can't watch TV that way. Well, you can't live your life this way. Because everything reminds you, either scares you. But in the back of your mind, you're scared all the time. You're scared you'll say something wrong. You'll do something wrong. You won't look good when you're older. Somebody won't like you who likes you now. That is that stuff expressing itself. That is not your natural state. Your natural state is one of ecstasy, satchidananda, bliss, just pure beauty flowing inside of you all the time. That's what's back there. Be that. That's something to achieve. So basically, you redirect your life. You wake up. This is the meaning of my life. From now on, period. The easy way to do it, you can't do the big stuff all at once. You can't. Don't even think about it. You start with the simple stuff. I call it the low-hanging fruit. You're driving your car and someone's going slower than you want to. Watch your mind. Watch your heart. Watch what I know I do. Does anybody ever talk to the driver in front of them? Be honest. They don't hear you. Don't tell anybody. They don't hear you. All right? My mind will sit there and say, nice blinker, buddy. When they don't put their blinker on. Okay, very nice. Thank you, Mr. Mind. That's very nice. It felt really good. No, it didn't. All right? And they didn't hear you. They don't hear a single word you said. Do you understand that? You're in there saying all this stuff to yourself. How about we don't do that? That's where I want you to work. It's raining out. And I have to go deliver something. Why does it have to rain when I deliver something? The rain doesn't know you're delivering something. It has nothing to do with that. And no one hears you talking except you anyways. You're taking all this negativity and bringing it up into your life. Enjoy the rain. Enjoy the driver in front of you. It's just silly. And so you get to the point where you start doing this. It's called working on yourself. The highest relationship you can possibly have is the one with yourself. No relationship with anybody else has even close to the importance of your relationship with yourself. They have to try and get around your relationship with yourself. There are people inside themselves that say things like, I'm not worthy of love. I never have been. That's why I'm always so hurt, right? I'm not all that attractive, and so on. Okay, so now we're going to meet somebody that if you're in there doing that to yourself, they're supposed to overcome it. They're supposed to make you feel love when you're busy making yourself not feel love. Even if they love you and they talk, then you walk away. I don't know. I could get hurt in this relationship. This doesn't seem, I don't know if no one has ever really loved me. I don't know if I can trust them. Well, congratulations. What a wonderful thing to do with yourself. Your relationship with yourself is absurd. Fix it. And then all of a sudden, all your relationships will be fixed. Be willing to work on yourself as sincere as you work in relationships, as sincere you work for money, as sincere you work to get people's respect. Those things are meaningless. They come and go. They have meaning when you work on yourself. Then all of a sudden they come in and they're richer. So that's what letting go means. There's a punchline. That's what letting go means. It doesn't mean let go of your job. It doesn't mean let go of your relationship. It doesn't mean letting go of anything except inside. How do I know what to let go of? It will let you know. That's what's nice about this. It will come right up in your face, and it will make you feel yicky or make you feel all excited. You will see it, won't you? And I'm telling you, it's because you're blocking your Shakti, you're blocking your light with this stuff you stored inside. Do you understand that? You're a being of tremendous light, tremendous joy, tremendous love. You don't need anything. You're whole and complete within yourself. But you have blocked it with this stuff that you collected. It's just that simple. Isn't that amazing? You collected these impressions that got made in your mind, and you kept them in there. I don't know. I can't even talk about it. Get them out. How? When they come up, let them go. Don't go in there fishing and grabbing and fighting. No, you don't have to fight with yourself. All you have to do is when they come up, remember this conversation and say, do I or do I not want to let go of this? And the answer, it is always yes, no matter what. But it hurts. Of course it hurts. It was stored with pain. It's going to come back with pain. You stored it because it was painful 10 years ago. What do you think it's going to feel like now when it comes up? Okay, let go. Let go. If you will just relax, that's the key. When it comes up, your tendency is to resist, isn't it? Your tendency is to fight. Your tendency is to push it away. Or if it's a desire that's driving you, to go after it and express it. And by the way, even if it's bothering you, your tendency is to get angry and yell at people and just somehow deal with this energy in a terrible way. Just sit inside, see it come up, and relax. Relax. Relax your body. Relax your inner state. Keep your hands to yourself inside. Don't push, pull. Neither push nor pull. Just let it go. And I'm telling you, over time, you gave it the room to release. And every one of those energies will come up. It's called transmutation. It will come up and it will feed your soul. It will feed your being. And you will start to feel free. You start to feel open. Start to feel love all the time. Now you're not looking for love. Now you're expressing love. All right. Chakras.